We have a new Fox poll shows voters going even more negative on the D.C. swamp. Voters now have a better opinion of the administration, Melania Trump, Vice President and the President, leading other politicians, including Republicans and Democrats, in the D.C. swamp by double digits. Now, President Trump pushing for a legislative victory, saying, quote, "I cannot imagine that Congress would dare to leave D.C. without a beautiful new health care bill fully approved and ready to go." While the Democrats are still fear-mongering, the latest, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders now slamming the GOP health care bill. He's now estimating it will be 9 times worse than the losses we suffered on 9/11. That's a quote. Former Trump campaign chief operating officer Jeff DeWit with me now. All right, let's stay on Bernie Sanders for a second. I mean, timing is one thing. The Muslim pro-Sharia activist Linda Sarsour just declared jihad on the White House. I wonder how the people of New York, Pennsylvania, and D.C., the victims' families, will feel about Bernie Sanders comparing policy impact to terrorist attacks. What do you think?
You know, it's not only uncalled for, but it's very unsenatorial, and I would expect more out of Senator Sanders. So, look, this is what the American people have voted for. Almost every Republican lawmaker elected ran on an anti-Obamacare platform, and it's now time to deliver on the promises made to the people. That plain and simple. I fully agree with President Trump that it's time to get a bill done, and nobody should be going on vacation or leaving until it's done.
Jeff, Bernie Sanders and his crowd, they're pushing for failure of the GOP bill because they want single payer. We're going to get to that in a second. But, you know, single payer under the Veteran Affairs single payer system, according to the Inspector General, 307,000 vets, this is according to the IG, may have died waiting for care. Those records were stalled at the VA. So it's really single payer that's the issue, right? I mean, if he's going to, it's a disgrace to compare it to 9/11. I'll tell you, if he doesn't face blowback, I think lawmakers should take it up and say, Bernie Sanders, you just brought it to a new low. Go ahead.
Well, the VA is a perfect example of how the government fails miserably at handling health care, and how anybody could assume that we want the government to handle all the health care for the country. It would be a terrible mistake. In addition to the fact that there are estimates out there that if it was single payer, it would cost $3.2 trillion over the next 10 years. Where in the world would we get that money? It doesn't exist. So, no, it's a bad idea. We need less government in health care. We don't need more government in health care. You
know, and a collapse of Vermont, Bernie Sanders' home state, even before it was implemented, the idea of it was just collapsing it, you know, when they tried to implement single payer in Vermont. Let's get to lawmakers. They have just 3 weeks before the August recess to get it done. I mean, you know, Jeff, you've seen this. Senator Chuck Grassley is now warning the Republicans could go from Senate majority to Senate minority. I mean, Mitch McConnell is horse trading like never before. What do you think?
If we go, as Republicans, from Senate majority to minority, it won't be because we got something done. It will be because nothing got done. The American people are fed up with a Congress and a Senate that talks but delivers nothing. So if we want to hold a majority and increase that majority, we have to deliver on the promises, plain and simple. So, again, I default to President Trump. He's absolutely right. And if you're looking at look at Obamacare as an example, it's failing miserably. Here in Arizona, we've seen the premiums over double. People can't afford to do anything with Obamacare. So it's failed. It's done. And you look back, as you just mentioned, you know, some people claim that was the Democrats' plan all along, was that Obamacare would fail and force the country into single payer. But the American public have given Republicans now the majority in the Senate, House, and the White House, and with the expectation that they will deliver on repealing Obamacare. And now it's time to do that. You know,